a lot of hypocrisy going on with that. That's why the fight is happening in Mexico, because I was listening to the promoter last night. He was on a podcast. I'll send that to you after. The commission wanted the promoter to pay for everyone to be in quarantine, not leave, do all that, same as UFC, but for a show that isn't raking in UFC dollars, it's not plausible. So this way we get to fight, and I think he's doing an excellent job of building this up so it can be a regular thing as well. With the pay-per-view, it's only $8. Facebook Live, there's a new feature. They're doing live pay-per-views through Facebook now, and I think they're one of the first to trial it out for them. So it's going to be interesting. This way, I think 300 people max at the moment, and the closer it gets to the fight, they'll reassess to see what the option is for people to come. But the pay-per-views are a good option for us to stay active and people to get out there and watch it.
And as a fighter competing, like, is there like any, I mean, obviously you've signed on the dotted line and you're doing it. So, but has there been any kind of, and just also knowing the number of infections that America's dealing with and stuff, has there ever been like a second thought in the back of your mind, like in the sense of not about the fight, about just, you know, like we are in this weird area with the pandemic and stuff like that. Have you thought like, oh, if I do this, do I end up getting infected? And has that ever been a thought or not?
Of course. You have to worry about all that sort of stuff. I don't have my parents here or any like older relatives. So it's just me and my wife. The guys that I've been training with, it's been a small group of the same people. So it's been pretty contained. Did go a bit crazy in the house for the first bit because I live in an apartment with no backyard, and I live in a pretty dicey area in SF. So you can't just go hang out in the park or go for a walk at night. But at some point you have to get out there. So sanitizing, keeping my distance, I'm wearing my mask. I feel safe doing that myself. I know people say against it otherwise, but definitely in the back of my mind, but I'm gonna have to keep moving forward.
And in regards to like traveling across to Mexico, is there any sort of like, what's the procedure there? Like, do you need to get an exemption first and foremost? Because I mean, look, even before the pandemic, right, there was all this talk about that, you know, Trump's building a wall and stuff like that to obviously separate the two. Now we've got the pandemic on top of that. So, yeah, is there any sort of kind of loopholes that you've had to jump through, or is it pretty standard over there now that you can, like, as I said, like, for instance, here, we can't go to Queensland, right? So, like, there's those state borders where obviously here we're not even dealing with state borders, I guess, but as I always say, like, you're living in the land of the free where basically people are probably, not, you know, got the whole, well, you can't tell us what to do. We're going to travel. Because I know my mates in Vegas and stuff, they've been flying around, like, domestically through this whole thing. Like, even, like, at the peak of the pandemic, I've seen them. They're like, oh, yeah, we just went to San Diego and we went here. And I'm like, you guys are still flying? We can't fly. Like, we literally, domestically, we can't fly. We're done, you know? Like, and they're like, yeah, we can fly. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, they some of the airlines did like no one in the middle seat. Then some were like, they just packed it on because a lot of them, they're about to go under. So I think they just went, fuck it. The first place I went was LA for Independence Day. That was in July. That was the first time I left the city since the lockdown. That first 2 months, we were told not to leave the city. It's the same with the other Bay Area, like Oakland and stuff like that. They had to stay in Oakland. We had to stay in SF. They had to stay in San Jose, stuff like that. So to limit the spread. So I think they were doing it okay here, but some of the southern states were just like, we'll do what we want, and that comes with the freedom here in America. Other than that, where else did we go? We went to Utah, so we've been doing a lot of hiking and camping, me and my wife, because can't come home, can't go overseas, so been doing a bit more exploring.
And it's the Aussie thing to do. Like I keep trying to tell my missus, right? Because she's New York, she's a city girl, right? And I'm like, yeah, but there's something about camping. But I think that's a very Australian thing, right? Like to get out there and get along with nature.
So now it's started, like we went top corner of California, just above Reno there, Lassen National Park, and we were good, but it was getting cold. And like anything else, you're going to need some like proper gear to do it. So anyone over in the East Coast is not good right now for camping. Utah was great. It's good. People wearing their masks most of the time, or they'll see you and they'll put their mask up. So I felt good. And outdoors, I feel better outdoors than being inside.